Hello everybody, this is Valencia and welcome to my channel Balloons and Business, where I show you the business of balloon and event decor. So today I want to show you how I decorated for this Winnie the Pooh themed baby shower. And I'm going to show you step by step from me making the balloon garland to me putting up the green boxwood backdrop. I'm also going to talk about some of the challenges that I encountered when setting up for this event. So if you want to see how I did it, just stay tuned. So for this Winnie the Pooh themed balloon garland, I'm going to be using a pastel yellow from Sempertex brand and Batalitex, a Monet or light blue from Tuftex, and latte colored tan balloons from Sempertex. And I will put that information in the description box below the video. So I blew my balloons up together at a time and tied them together into dupes. And now I'm twisting my dupes into small clusters. These clusters are going to have 6 dupes or 12 balloons each. And I'm going to do this for both of the pastel yellow and the pastel light blue. So once I twist my balloons into clusters, I'm going to take one neck from one balloon in one cluster and one neck from another balloon in another cluster, and I'm going to tie them together. And this is how I am going to connect the clusters of my balloon garland base. So I ended up tying together 3 clusters of balloons, 2 blue clusters and 1 yellow cluster. These are 11-inch balloons, by the way. I will be adding larger and smaller sizes of balloons to this balloon garland when I get to the location. So I decided to make my 5-inch balloon clusters ahead of time. And I'm going to attach them to the balloon garland with a 260 balloon. So I'm cutting my 260s in half and then tying them around my clusters so that they will be ready to put on the balloon garland. So I just want to show you all the balloons that I blew up beforehand. This event is going to be at a park, so I want to make sure I had most, if not all, of the balloons already blown up. So I have my boxwood backdrop. It is already zip tied together and it's folded up, and this is 6 feet wide by 8 feet long, 8 feet tall. And then I got a bunch of cinder blocks and stuff like that. I have my wagon, and underneath here I have the backdrop stand bases, and then the poles are somewhere in here. And then I have my balloons and material up front. So I just want to show you guys how I loaded up my van. I've had some requests for this. So I put all of those spare clusters that I blew up in a large king size mattress bag. And there goes my balloon garland base right there, and a couple more clusters that I blew up. And the balloons are very flexible. All you got to do is just gently stuff them into the car and you'll be surprised what you can fit in there. Real quick, I just wanted to show you some of the cute little Winnie the Pooh themed centerpieces that the client made, and also her dessert table. Very, very cute. See those little cute little butterflies floating? She got those, I think, off of Amazon, and she made those little honeycomb pieces to put on the cupcakes. Very creative, very cute. Okay, so it was a windy day at this park, as you can see that tree blowing. So I had to be mindful when I put this backdrop up that I used a lot of weight at the bottom bases. So I used about 30 to 40 pounds of weight at the bottom. So I start by putting my backdrop up at the top using some zip ties, making sure it's nice and secure at the top before I let the backdrop up to my desired height. And then I would put zip ties on the side of the backdrop to make sure it was nice and secure. Now, I did not use a tarp for the back of this backdrop, even though the sunlight will be shining through, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I also used this brick to create some tension at the center of this backdrop because the wind was blowing the center of that backdrop, as you can see, and the more the wind blows it, the more pressure you're putting on that backdrop. So I just tied a brick to the center right there using fishing line to create some tension and keep it from blowing in the center. Now regarding the tarp, I didn't put it on the back and you can see the sun shining through. I did that because I'm outdoors and it's a windy day. When the wind blows, it blows through the holes of the boxwood backdrop. But when you put the tarp on there, there's nowhere for the wind to blow through. So it gets kind of trapped in that tarp. if that makes sense. And so that's more likely to create more weight and pressure and make the backdrop fall over. So that's why I did not use the tarp, because of that wind. So now I'm attaching the balloon garland base to the backdrop using a 260Q balloon, and I'm attaching it at 3 points. And notice how I'm attaching the balloon garland on the actual boxwood backdrop, not the backdrop stand pole. So to thicken up this garland, I'm going to be adding some small clusters of about 6 balloons. And I'm going to be just tying them by the necks of the balloons, just like I did to make the balloon garland base. Taking a neck from one balloon in the cluster and tying it to a neck from another balloon in the pre-existing balloon garland. I'm also shaping this balloon garland because I don't want it to be a typical L-shaped balloon garland. And now I'm attaching some large 17-inch balloons using some 260Qs. And I'm just wrapping the 260s around a couple balloons in the pre-existing balloon garland. I'm going to thicken up that base right there. So right now I'm just thickening up my balloon garland by attaching small clusters and dupes. I'm attaching that big old cluster right there using a 260Q. I'm beefing up the bottom part. I'm trying to maintain that flowing shape because I don't want the typical L shape. I'm also making sure that this balloon garland is attached nice and secure to the backdrop. So you're not seeing it on camera, but I'm actually attaching the balloon garland at several points onto the backdrop with 260Q balloons to make sure that it's not blowing around with the wind. Also, I'm trying to make sure that my colors look like they're melting into each other and it's not just a stark color block. So I'm making it look like the brown is kind of melting into the yellows and the blues right there. I'm also adding this large 24-inch balloon alongside my 17-inch balloons. I added it right there to fill in that gap. Now, one thing I wanted to note is that I didn't like the placement of this balloon. I should have left it right there, right where I froze. I should have left it right there, but instead I pushed it right in front of those balloons, the blue balloons, which I do not recommend pushing a large 24-inch balloon in the front like that. I recommend pushing it to the side so that it's not just taking all the attention away from the other balloons in the garland. So I added some more balloons on that other side to cover up that brick. And I also wanted to make it look like the balloon garland was flowing upward like a branch on a tree. So all the way at the top, you notice it got smaller at the very top. And then I want to make it look like it was coming back around at the bottom right, kind of in a curved motion. So, I had a little vision for this. I'm not quite sure if it came out the way I wanted it, but, I'm experimenting with the shape more and more. So now I'm adding some eucalyptus leaves for the final touch. And later on, I did spray this balloon garland with some balloon shine to restore the shininess of the balloons. So here is the finished product to the Winnie the Pooh themed balloon garland. Overall, I do like the shape of this balloon garland. I think I could have thickened it up just a little bit more at the top with the latte balloons. And of course, I would have loved to push that blue balloon back over to the side. And I could have added another 24-inch yellow balloon up there where the yellow latte and the blue balloons intersect in that upper left-hand corner. As I mentioned before, I have been practicing on the shapes of my balloon garlands, and the challenge has been trying to maintain the thickness and fullness of my garlands while practicing with the shape, because you definitely want to make sure you're giving the client their money's worth and giving them a nice big balloon garland. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead on and like it, and please subscribe, and you'll get notifications on future videos on balloon and event decor. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.